In the previous video, we knew that the general told Dr. Sadao that he had a plan to kill the white man. He told Dr. Sadao that he had professional killers and he would send them to his house to kill the white man. Dr. Sadao was only required to leave the outer partition of the white man's room open to the garden while he slept so that the professional killers could enter the room and kill the American. Dr. Sadao came back to his house and did what he was told to do. He waited for the professional killers to come and kill the white man. Hannah asked Dr. Sadao to close the partition of the white man's room, but he refused to do so and said that the white man was able to do it for himself. The next morning, Dr. Sadao found the white man in his room. He had not been killed by the professional killers as he had expected. Now see what happened after that. Then the third night, of course, must be the night. The wind changed to quiet rain and the garden was full of the sound of dripping eaves. Now what is eaves? Eaves is the part of a roof that meets or overhangs the walls of a building. Now see, this is the image of dripping eaves and running springs. Sadao slept a little better, but he woke at the sound of a crash and leaped to his feet. Dr. Sadao was hopeful that the professional killers might come on the third night. Instead of the wind, there was rain that night. The garden was full of the noises as the water dripped down the roof and tiny rivulets flowed through the garden. Dr. Sadao slept a little and jumped as he heard a loud noise. What was that? Hannah cried. The baby woke at her voice and began to wail. Wail means beep or cry. I must go and see. But he held her and would not let her move. Sadao, she cried, what is the matter with you? Don't go. He muttered, don't go. Hannah shouted, what was that? The baby woke up because she had shouted. The baby began to weep. Hannah wanted to go out to see what had happened. But Dr. Sadao stopped her. He did not allow her to go. Hannah loudly asked Dr. Sadao what was wrong with him. He only asked her not to go. Actually, Dr. Sadao was thinking that the professional killers had come to kill the white man. That was why Dr. Sadao did not allow Hannah to go and see the whole scenario. His terror infected her and she stood breathless, waiting. There was only silence. Together they crept back into the bed, the baby between them. Actually, Dr. Sadao was afraid. So Hannah also became afraid. She could not go out. She just stood in the room. Nobody spoke anything. Finally, they both went to the bed. The baby was sleeping between them. Yet, when he opened the door of the guest room in the morning, there was the young man. He was very gay. Gay means happy, and had already bathed and was now on his feet. He had asked for a razor yesterday and had saved himself, and today there was a faint color in his cheeks. I am well, he said joyously. In the morning, Dr. Sadao opened the door of the guest room. Tom was still in the room. He looked happy. He had already taken a bath. He was standing in his room. He had taken a razor the previous day. He had shaved his beard. Today his face looked less yellow. He happily said that he was feeling better. Sadao drew his kimono. Kimono means a Japanese dress. Round his weary. Weary means tired. Body he could not. He decided suddenly go through another night. It was not that he cared for this young man's life. No, simply it was not worth the strain. Dr. Sadao wrapped his kimono around his sleepy and tired body. He suddenly realized that he did not want to spend one more night waiting for the assassins to arrive. He was not bothered about the life of the young man. The waiting was putting a lot of tension on him. You are well, Sadao agreed. He lowered his voice. You are so well that I think if I put my boat on the shore tonight with food and extra clothing in it, you might be able to row to that little island not far from the coast. Dr. Sadao agreed with the white man and told him that he was well now. Dr. Sadao further told him that he had become so strong that he could sail a boat. Dr. Sadao now told him about his plan. Dr. Sadao would give a boat to the white man. The boat would be placed near the seashore. The boat would have some extra food and clothes. Tom should row that boat to the small island that was not very far from the beach. It is so near the coast that it has not been worth fortifying. Fortifying means making arrangements for protection. Nobody lives on it because in storm it is submerged. Submerged means remaining underwater. But this is not the season of storm. Dr. Sadao told the white man that the island was so near the coast that it had not been worth fortifying. Nobody lived on it because in a storm it was remaining underwater. But that was not the season of storm and he might go there. You could live there until you saw a Korean fishing boat pass by. They pass quite near the island because the water is many fathoms deep there. Now see what is fathom. Fathom is a linear unit of measurement equal to 6 feet for water depth. Dr. Sadao told the white man that he could live there for some time. When a boat from Korea came near the island, he could take that boat for his further journey. Dr. Sadao told that Korean boats used to come very near to that island because the water was quite deep there. The young man stared. Stared means looked at him, slowly comprehending. Comprehending means understanding. Do I have to? He asked. At this, the young man looked at Dr. Sadao and slowly he was trying to understand what Dr. Sadao had told him. Do I have to? He asked. The young man asked Dr. Sadao if he had to leave his house and go to the island. I think so. Sadao said gently, you understand, it is not hidden that you are here. Dr. Sadao told the young man that he also thought so and he should understand that it was not hidden that he was in the house of Dr. Sadao. The young man nodded in perfect comprehension. Comprehension means understanding. The young man nodded his head in perfect understanding because he had understood what Dr. Sadao had told him. Okay, he said simply. And the young man said okay and he agreed with Dr. Sadao. Sadao did not see him again until evening. As soon as it was dark, he had dragged. Dragged means drawn or pulled. The stout means strong, boat down to the shore and in it he put food and bottled water that he had bought secretly during the day, as well as two quilts he had bought at a pawn shop. Now see what is a pawn shop. Pawn shop is a shop where loans are made with personal property as security. Now see, Dr. Sadao did not meet Tom during that day. When evening came, Dr. Sadao pulled his strong boat near the shore. He put some food, water, and two quilts in it. He had purchased these items during the daytime from a pawn shop. The boat he tied to a post in the water, for the tide was high. There was no moon and he walked without a flashlight. There were high waves in the sea, so Dr. Sadao tied the boat to a pole. It was a no moon night. Dr. Sadao did all these walks without a flashlight. When he came to the house, he entered as though he were just back from his work, and so Hannah knew nothing. Now see, after completing these works, Dr. Sadao came back to his house. He acted as if he had come back from his normal work. So Hannah did not know about the arrangements Dr. Sadao had made. Yumi was here today, she said as she served his supper. Supper means dinner. Though she was so modern, still she did not eat with him. Yumi cried over the baby. She went on with a sigh. She misses him so. The servants will come back as soon as the foreigner is gone, Sadao said. Now see, Hannah served dinner for Dr. Sadao. Though she was modern, she did not eat with her husband. Hannah told Dr. Sadao that Yumi had come to the house. Yumi cried a lot for the baby. Yumi missed the baby so much. Dr. Sadao told Hannah that the servants would come back to the house after the American was gone. He went into the guest room that night before he went to bed himself and checked carefully the American's temperature, the state of the wound, and his heart and pulse. Dr. Sadao went to the guest room before going to his own bedroom. He carefully checked pulse and temperature of the American. He also checked his wound and heartbeat. The pulse was irregular, but that was perhaps because of excitement. The young man's pale lips were pressed together and his eyes burned. Eyes burned means eyes were shining. Only the scars on his neck were red. His pulse was irregular. Probably it was because of anxiety of leaving the house. His lips were yellow and he was silent. His eyes were bright and shining. The scars on his neck were of red color.